Seton Cardinal Spotlight, the show where only the best of the best get to shine. I'm your host, Colby Cox, and welcome back to Seton Cardinal Spotlight after a summer hiatus. We are back for the 2019 to 2020 school year to bring you more interviews with more special guests. Today, I don't think we could have a better guest to start off our new 2019-2020 Seton. He is our current pastor, who is replacing the late Father Kevin Morris, and he is from India, but moved here to America to fulfill his priestly duties. That man is Fr Sengole Naranja. Welcome back, Fr Sengole. I think I might have butchered your last name there, so I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming here.
You're very welcome.
So, as I mentioned before, you're our new pastor. You're replacing Father Kevin Morris after his untimely death, and this is your first parish with a school connected to it. Mm-hmm. So I just want to know, what's it like running a parish with a school system within it? Are there any struggles you have? Is it harder than running one without one? And how is that?
Well, it's both a blessing and a challenge. Right? This is my 12th year as a priest, and I think this is the first time, having a school in the parish, mm-hmm. and I consider that as a great blessing.
Okay.
But with the parish and a school, it looks like my brain is kind of divided, right? So right. Parish life and then the school life, and then we are also very, very much blessed to have committed teachers, excellent principals, and the leadership that they show. That's in that way, I really don't feel burdened at all, and I'm really excited to see the students every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mm-hmm. and I have a great time interacting with them during the Mass. Okay. That's something that I never imagined that I would be doing.
Wow.
So
would you say you have a pretty good connection with the students during the Mass?
Well, I'm trying. I'm trying my best. And it will take some time, right? With any relationship or that, it takes time, and I try my best to be in and around the school every time I have a chance. I go play with the kids, particularly during the weather is good. Not anymore. But I just go inside the school. Sometimes walk into the classroom, and say hello, and that would be that's it.
Sounds good. And I mentioned before, you're from India. You moved here from India to the United States.
Correct.
And I'm very curious about that. Is life in the U.S. a big adjustment from life in India?
Definitely so.
Definitely so? In
Yep.
what ways?
Many ways. I came into this country, and I love this country. Beautiful country, great people, right? 2011. So it was 2009. My dad died in September, and my bishop calls me during a Christmas carol about 10:30 at night, and then he asked me to go and see him the next day. But I asked him, may I know the reason? I'm thinking about sending you to another country as part of the Universal Church, and I said, okay. And I was there, and then the bishop tells me that I should be prepared to go to France. So that was my first country.
Oh wow!
So then I was not excited at all, because French. Oh my gosh, I have no clue. How the French is spoken or whatever, the language wise. Right. But I was mentally preparing. But the paperwork for the visa and other things was not going well. Okay. Somebody in that part of the country, either they retired or somebody was not there in the office, and then my bishop tells me, and I think it's not going to work. And how about the United States? And I said, oh, I don't have to learn French. Okay, I'm ready. There we are. And it took about 8 months to get the visa and ready, visa and everything ready. And I came into this country on January 14, 2011.
Wow. You seem pretty happy that you got America instead of France.
Yes, I'm so far life has been very blessed. Apart from the challenges, you asked me what would be the adjustments. Well, adjustments, the first thing would be the time, right? The time difference, 11 and a half hours between India and US.
Right.
Now, because of that, I really don't have much time to talk to my folks back there because they go to sleep and I wake up, and then I go to sleep, they go to bed. Sorry, I go to sleep and they wake up. 3 to 4 hours of time, particularly when it comes to my mom. Mom goes to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock every day, and a very limited time. But then I do speak with her almost every day, I would say, like 3-4 times a week. Then getting connected with other friends, that would be a huge adjustment because you're not there physically, right?
Right.
I go to see my family once a year, mostly every January, but the next year is going to be probably June, July because of the school. I want to be here. That's okay. So when I go there, I just take 4 weeks of holidays, vacation, right?
Okay.
Which is stipulated by the archdiocese, and priests can take 4 weeks of vacation.
Wow.
Well, here, American priests, they take like one at a time, like 1 week or 10 days, and then
Right.
So, but for
Space
us,
them out
for
a little
me, you know, I need to take all of it so that I can spend quality time with my family and friends. So those would be adjustments. And when food, not anymore, but in the very beginning, like first 2 years, food was a big adjustment. I was not a cook. Now I am a cook. I can cook my Indian recipes, and so that way, you know, it's not a big adjustment anymore. But yeah.
And what, sorry, go ahead.
And working in the church, that is, I won't say a huge difference, but there is a difference. Here in the church, I see like, you know, people taking ownership. Lay people are involved in the church. But back there, we are still empowering lay people, and that means the priests get to do everything, including bookkeeping, things like that. But then here, you know, pretty well coordinated. People are very much involved in church. You really don't have to worry other than your sacramental ministry, which only the priest can do, right? The rest of it can be delegated. Things are, you know, the talents and the charisms that people bring into the church. That is really awesome.
Sure sounds like it. So that's a great thing that you get to visit your family in India. Mm-hmm. I was wondering how that would work, because they live all the way over there and we're all the way
Go
over
once
here.
a year. Yep.
Once a year.
Mm-hmm. That's super good. Yep.
Excellent. If you were to look back at your life, or even now, just your whole life to the present moment, how would you describe your faith journey? Were there any struggles with your faith? Any miracle experiences? Mm-hmm. How would you describe it?
Well, as with everybody, we do have challenges. We do have phases of journey, right? Mm-hmm. Eric Erickson talks about the 8 stages of psychological growth, right? But that is also very much true in our faith journey. God intervenes in our lives all the time, every day. But then the way we look at God and His place in our life matters according to the stage we're in, right? We are infants, and so we look at the world as an infant. Young people, youth, we look at the world that perspective. You know, you feel like you have wings and you can fly.
Right.
But then as you transition into, you know, young adult life, and then your life, and as you mature into everything, you know, you see that things are falling in place. You are able to, you know, connect the dots. You know, okay, wow, I look back in my life and I can see, wow, God has been working in my life, you know, more than I would be, right? And so I'm able to connect the dots, even though there were so many struggles in my personal life and family life, particularly to do with poverty. You know, things are not like, you know, you would imagine. When I joined seminary, it was 12th grade. I finished my 12th grade, and then Mom was very supportive, right, since the beginning of my vocation, right? But a lot of other folks in my extended family, they were not discouraging me, but they were asking me questions like, why would you join the seminary? You need to stay back with Mom and help the family. Right. Mom was big, no, let them say whatever they want, but I think that God wants you to be priest, and I think you should go ahead. She has been a huge supporter of my vocation and also priesthood, even to this day, right? So that was, I would consider that was a very decisive moment in my life. I look back and I say, well, what if I listened to my extended family members, including friends, because their words and their advice at that time was very different. Like
Right.
they were kind of telling me, "Are you sure you're gonna go join seminary? I think you need to be thinking about your family right now because I'm the second eldest, right?"
Right.
And I just went, and that's it. The Lord says, you don't turn back, and you started a journey. Just keep going, and it's a great blessing.
It is a great blessing.
Yeah.
Like, talking again about your faith journey, was there ever a point in your faith journey where you started to doubt the existence of God?
Yes, very much. During my philosophy, when I joined seminary, well, first 3 years were just preparatory education, and then 3 years of college. And then after that, I was like any seminarian, any priest for that matter. All over the world, we do 2 to 3 years of philosophy and then 4.5 years of theology. So that's the main chunk of our education. And before that, some countries have spirituality and preparatory education and things like that. When I was in philosophy, like, you read Aristotle, you read Plato, and then you read the existentialists, you read phenomenologists, and then also postmodern thinkers, Foucault and Derrida, and all those, philosophers even now. But the more you read, you think about, oh my gosh, okay, is God really there? Or
Right.
is this something that was passed on to us and then we are just doing it because everybody is doing
Sort
it?
of
So there was I would consider that as it did not last long. Maybe I would say like for a year. Like I was like kind of a philosophical thinking without anything. But by the time I finished my philosophy and then I was in a parish work, not a parish, but the seminary and also a social service center. I was doing some type of internship. And then there, I began to see the people's faith and also the people's involvement in the church and then how they take their faith seriously. And then when I entered into theology and then I read, we began studying the scripture, began studying the theology, and began studying, how, God intervenes in our lives, not only in our personal lives, but also life as a church. And then okay, God is a person. Right? This way we every Sunday we say Jesus, he came down from heaven for the sake of salvation of all.
Right.
And then I began to see God as a person, not as just a concept.
Okay.
Right? And so that is where your faith matures more. Okay, you see God as a person, not as a thing, not as a concept, not as a transcendental being, nothing to do with our lives. And then you begin to see, it can be everyday life. Faith is an everyday, every moment thing, right? Okay. And so I would not consider that as a huge fall, but then I did have my own time of questioning. I questioned everything. Questioned church, questioned God, questioned doctrines, dogmas, questioned everything,
Right.
But at the same time, I think I was in a better place in such a way that I had good professors, friends who supported my, prayer life, supported my spirituality.
Yeah. I asked that just simply because I feel like that's something a lot of Christians, especially young Christians my age, struggle with. Is God real? Is he not
Well,
real?
you should have. You should be, because that's our reasoning ability, right? Reason makes us question.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we are stuck there. We need to find our ways, because the same reason also helps us, wade through the waters and then, go forward.
Right. So, when in your life would you say you knew you needed to be a priest, or that you knew that it was God's call for you to be a priest? Would it happen early in your life, a little later in your life? Mm-hmm. When would you say that God called you to be a priest?
I think, probably a 4th or 5th grader. Firstly, it came from my dad's brother, my uncle. And he kind of, he made a very simple comment one day and said, "Oh, you'll make a good priest." And then kind of that stuck in my brain. And because every day I saw priests, every day I went to church, right? Every day, not a single day I did not go. that was my hometown, because every day we had mass like 5:30 in the morning. And so we went as a group. We sometimes, even if there were no people, but I was there. And I became a sacristan when I was a ninth grader, 9th and 10th, because the sacristan at that time retired. And so I took care of the church for about a year, during my school, doing all my school work and everything. I think I was a 10th grader at that time. So, and then being closer to the church, I had this great opportunity to watch closely, what was going on at the altar, what the priest's life looked like, every day.
Right.
My pastor, his name is Father Stephen. He was the one who encouraged me to join the seminary, and he was a huge supporter.
Wow.
Yep.
So, to address people in the audience who may be considering becoming a priest or joining in some form of the religious life or the clergy, what would you say are the best and worst aspects about being a priest?
Okay. That's a great question, and I appreciate you for asking that. Okay.
No problem. It's my job.
Correct. And I would say, okay, let's begin from here. Everything is a choice.
Right.
Right. And then we take delight in our choices that we make in everything. If they're bad choices, it doesn't make us feel happy, right?
It's true.
But if they're good choices, that makes us feel proud. And I think every teen, every young people should ask this question: what does God ask me to do? And then the second question would be very important question. Second question: will I be able to respond to what God is asking me to do?
Okay.
We are called to be courageous people. We are called to be, priesthood is all about men, right? Men are called to be courageous. And I see even becoming a priest is a courageous choice that you make.
I can definitely see that.
It is a courageous choice. And so first question, I would ask every day in my prayer: what is God's plan for me? It could be anything, right? Vocation, when we say in the Catholic Church, we say vocation to married life. It is a vocation. It's a choice, right? And then vocation to even single life. Okay, well, does God want me to be single? Right there, I would ask those folks, those young people who kind of think that, okay, I think I'm meant to be single. Well, ask another question as well. If you think deep down that you are called to be single, and then you can live your life just as single, and then I say, well, here's another great opportunity that I can spend my life as a single, being a priest. And so, God, not everybody can be celibates. Not everybody can be without marriage, right? It's part of our human nature. That's what we are. But if God asks you to be holy, if God asks you to be a priest,
Right.
and then discern, spend some time seriously in your prayer life, and then vocation is a choice. All the time it's a choice. And then if you made it correctly, your life is going to be happy life. Serving the church and serving the Lord. It's a great vocation that makes me happy every day. Yep.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Before we close off, let's let the audience get to know you a little bit. What are some hobbies that you have?
Oh my gosh. Hobbies. Well, I should say I have a bunch of them. So my first hobby would be music. So I play the guitar.
Wow.
And I self-taught bass guitar. And almost every day, I do something, watch YouTubes and then learn something more about bass guitar. And almost every day, I will grab my bass guitar and I do something, right? And then I do pencil sketches.
Oh, you draw.
Yes, and I've done many pencil sketches. Particularly, I'm attracted to human faces, and so, I should say faces. It could be animal, it could be human persons, or anybody. So I do pencil sketches. That's one of my hobbies as well. And read. I read books and articles. I don't miss any chance when it comes to reading a particular author or a particular topic. I keep reading. I just graduated in licentiate in sacred theology in April, and during those 4 times of my graduate studies, I read a lot of theological books, a lot of authors, and then I continue to do that.
Well, those are very good. Thank you so much for coming on, Father Sengole.
Thank you for having me.
No
it was
problem.
awesome.
For more information on Seton Catholic Schools and our parish, please visit www.setonschools.org, and be sure to like this video and subscribe for more Seton Cardinal Spotlight. I'm Colby Cox.